All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning, and I hope you had a great trading day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm great. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Slight computer issues today. I had to restart everything again. Not sure what's going on with these updates happening last minute, but overall doing okay, man. Um, all right, I'm doing better than that Tesla's truck you tweeted this morning. That's for sure. That thing is nasty.
We gotta show that here in a minute on the show. You'll have to pull it up. It's the most hideous thing I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
I thought it was a joke or a meme or something. That thing's complete garbage. Who's gonna buy that?
You telling me that's not going to be a big hit in Texas? We'll get the picture up in a second, guys. If you have not seen it on last night, or if you have not seen Norm's
They're
tweet.
gonna no, it might be a big hit in Texas. What they're gonna do is fill it with tannerite and see if the windows are actually bulletproof.
Beautiful.
Some of you guys might not know what tannerite is, but
Oh man,
I never, I never, I never thought a 1989 Volvo could be sexy until I saw this truck.
agree 100%. All right, guys. So let's get to it. As usual, we're gonna go over our stocks from yesterday. We were watching. We had quite a few on here that traded very very well. We'll go over our gappers list this morning. A little bit on what the SPY is possibly can do today on anything going on, especially with the markets. Norm will go over that. Then we'll get into some announcements and support and resistance. Kind of see what's going on with some of these levels that we can find to help us better trade these stocks this morning. So let's get started over with AMTD here. So AMTD. I'm gonna get the 5 minute. I want us to show the 1 minute because AMTD was very very nice yesterday. Let's get the 1 minute here. AMTD. Here we go. All right, so guys, this one was again beautiful pre-market activity. This one, along with Schwab, has some news yesterday, and look at this drop. They were gapping up, so not easy to take this short here. Right, expecting this thing will probably head higher. But even with the gap up at the open, it's just dumped. It just really just started selling off nicely. You had a beautiful opening range breakdown on this one. Here's your opening range on the 5. Again, a little bit extended from the VWAP. You always want to be careful with that. But once it starts losing some of these pre-market lows and things like that, it became a beautiful short anywhere in these candles. I usually like to wait for the 5 minute candle to close. You do get a slight pullback. Again, it's not a lot, but a slight pullback here. That would have been the indication to enter this trade for the break of the low of the neck of the previous candle and then head down towards these levels that we have. So again, a beautiful trade on AMTD towards the downside. Here is Schwab. Schwab also same thing. Schwab actually had a better opportunity to enter the trade because it did not sell off and did not pull away from you too fast. So if you look at the 1 minute, you have a mini engulfing pattern here as well, right? The green candle is overlapped by the red candle completely, and then on the 5 minute, you do get a pullback to the VWAP, which turns out really nice for opening range breakdown. So that's a signal for a beautiful entry here close to the VWAP. And you can see the beautiful drop towards the bottom. CGC here, guys. This one also traded very, very clean. It was one that I kept. I took off CORN because we just had so many. CGC was the other one that was in play. Beautiful drop here. A beautiful engulfing pattern on the 5. If you're playing a longer time frame, right, a higher time frame, the 5 minute. You can see here beautiful engulfing. That's a signal for an entry here. And then from there, it trades very nicely, just sticking to this 9 and 20 moving averages towards the top. Hitting these levels that we had 2166 towards the top here. If it could get above this 1940, which is the high of the pre-market, and it did just that. It did hold this moving average and did head higher here on CGC. On the 1 minute, you could have had an entry here. It was a little more difficult to trade on the 1 minute. But you can see here I bottomed out around 1850. I was able to put in several new 1 minute highs here, get above the VWAP. This could have been another entry for long if you did not want to wait for this 5 minute higher time frame. So again, CGC also trading very well. I'm going to look at CRON. I know a lot of you guys kept CRON, and it looks like it did almost the exact same thing, guys. So again, nice engulfing here, a possible re-entry once it holds the moving average, and then from there it just went up nicely. This is the one I traded, guys. Macy's. So Macy's. I'm sorry, not Macy's. It was BJ. Sorry, Macy's. This is different. So Macy's here. Yeah, I don't think I watched Macy's. I don't know what this one's on here. Yeah, I don't think I watched Macy's, guys. I think I took this off. Not sure what this kept on here. I'm confusing it with BJ's, but didn't look like it traded all of that clean except for this first 15 minutes, and then it just got choppy from there. Again, this had a lot of. I remember now. This had a lot of volume in the pre-market, but again, this didn't trade very clean at the open either. So BJ's was the one that I traded. BJ's had a beautiful opening range breakup here, not opening range breakup, ABCD pattern here. I also shared this over on Twitter with my entries and exits. You can see here it started off very very bad at first with no volume at all. But what I liked about BJ's was the drop. BJ had a beautiful drop on the daily. It looked interesting to go one way or the other. And again, we see this. I don't trade this strategy here. I don't even know what strategy this is really, but I do see this a lot where you get this indecision candle with wicks on the top and bottoms, and then the next 5 minute candle, whatever direction it goes in, that it breaks out the higher or the low, it tends to run. It's like the buyers are taking control, the sellers take control, and we see this a lot. So I got to research this a little bit more, add this to our education center, because we see this type of move quite often. But that's not the way I traded it. I saw this as an ABCD pattern here. A, B, and C as support was a beautiful entry for a long here, and it went up nicely above the highs of the highs of the day, and then heading higher towards this 24.54 level we had on our daily. I remember Andrew tweeted last night, did you really have that level on there, Carlos? And we did. We put this together on our pre-market show when we saw an area clearly on the daily chart where we found some support that can now become resistance, and we see the stock went right to it. Next we had, let's not skip over Uber, because Uber was also very nice, guys. Again, took a little bit to get going. Same kind of indecision candle on that first 5 minutes. The next candle, kind of the buyers take control. Very difficult to take this trade here, but you can see the nice, beautiful pullback, giving you an opportunity for an entry for an ABCD pattern on the 5, right? ABCD pattern on the 1s are great too, but on the 5 minute, they tend to be a little more stronger, a little more confirmation. So you got your ABC D pattern forming here, and also on the 1, you have your A, your B, and your C pattern forming here as well. So when you can find it on the 1 and the 5, just gives you more confirmation this thing can really head higher towards that upside. Next we had Target. Target traded like crap, guys. This was very nasty. Again, nothing clean about this here. The candles or the volume was there, but just the candles overlapping each other. Again, nothing clean as it did trade on the previous day when it had a beautiful gap up. So again, I think it's just might be heading sideways for the next couple of days, just trying to find a groove here. But again, yesterday was just really, really bad on their trading. Here's Roku, guys. Roku also not a pretty open, pretty rough at the start. You have a nice green candle here. It looks like it could have been a quick open range breakup. It was setting up like it was going to be a nice open range breakup. You could have been along here. You did get a couple of points, but again, it just kind of came right back down the next candle. So it really didn't give you any momentum. It didn't keep going. Now these are a big move, guys. You're going from 161.50 all the way to 163. So don't get me wrong, that is a big pop. But looking at the candle themselves, you didn't get that continuation that you would like to have here, because as you're getting these big moves, you also have to give Roku some room, right? So your stop needs to be somewhere in here for Roku, right? So you're giving this almost a 50-cent dollar range, because you know Roku, it can move pretty against you pretty fast. So you want to take less shares and calculate where your stop is going to be on Roku. So though this looks like a great move, $2 moves, you do have to give Roku a little bit more room, costing you to take less shares so you can manage your risk accordingly, right? Very important that you manage your risk no matter what you're trading and what strategies you're trading. Let's look at what's the one we had. We had BPTH yesterday. I took that one off. I just want to see how that traded. BPTH. Yeah, see, it didn't do much, guys. So this was also one that was very active, had a lot of volume, but then at the open just kind of fell apart here, not doing anything too exciting. All right, so that's what we have for yesterday. Norm, what do we have today for the markets? Anything being announced? Anything sign that we should be looking out for?
So right now market's up just a tiny bit green. It's getting close to its low of the pre-market. As it drops just a little bit, it's up, a little over 1/10 of a point. Nothing extremely exciting except for we've got consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. and then preceding that at 9:45, manufacturing PMI flash. So not a ton of news coming out today. There's still, going back and forth on the trade war stuff. That's about all that's going on. It looked like world markets were mostly in the green. Asia closed green for the most part, and Europe's green right now too. So,
all right, excellent, man. All right, folks. So let's get to our gappers list. Let's see what we have going on here. I know that yesterday we got some good feedback on our show in regards to things we can do to improve, and one of them was to go slower on the levels and things like that, and we will definitely do that. Yesterday we had quite a lot on here. This list was huge, so we had to kind of push the time a little bit to get through all of them and not be able to miss out. But as much as we can, guys, if you have any feedback, definitely let us know. We'd love to hear how we can always improve this show. So let's get to it. Start off with MT, which is a foreign stock. Comes up here quite often. It does gap up and down very frequently, but again, it is a foreign stock. You have tons of gaps ups and down here that don't really trade excuse me, very well. So I'm gonna skip this one. The next one we have is FL. This is Foot Locker. See what's going on with them this morning. So Foot Locker right now, it is up 3% this morning, 358,000 shares traded. Let's get the 5 minute here. Pre-market activity looks active. Doesn't have any great patterns right now, but it looks pretty active right now with the volume. I wish this was a little bit less choppy. But Foot Locker when it has been in play, we have been able to trade it very well. Now, Norm, this is more than usual volume for Foot Locker. They're not gapping up a whole lot. I mean, 3% is a lot for them, but not a whole lot. What do we have going on with them today?
Yeah, so Foot Locker is in a way your typical NYSE stock that doesn't have a ton of volume pre-market. Typically, they did have earnings this morning. They beat their same store sales were better, and you have to keep in mind this is one battered stock. It's down something like 22% from the beginning of the year. It traded as high as I want to say 67 or so as recently as March. So it's beaten down a lot because the retail sector and everything else has been hit so hard. And so the little bit of positivity with their earnings is helping it pop a little bit. I'll have my eye on this one for sure.
All right, excellent. So
I anticipate the price action to get a little bit better as the market opens.
All right, perfect. So yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. Let's head over to PDD, which has been pretty active the last couple of days. PDD on here is how did it trade yesterday? I took this off my list yesterday. I know it was possible for a continuation, and actually not all that bad once it settled down. So if you look at the 5 minutes, this is pretty much chop here. But once it settled down, look how it loses. It kind of trades into a point here, and once it loses the VWAP, look at this drop all the way down, passing the low of the low of the day. So it did trade very nice. So it's a downside if you waited about half hour or so. This morning, let's look at the pre-market activities. Not all that great, but again, yesterday didn't have a great pre-market activity neither, and it did trade very well after that 1 hour. But looking at it now, guys, I don't like the pre-market activity. It is down. It is up 2%. I think we're just going to be getting into this consolidation time period here, which is going to be going sideways a little bit. Can it give you some good moves? Yes, it possibly can, but I just don't like what I'm seeing now in the pre-market, so I'm going to skip that one. Let's head over to Tesla, guys. Tesla is trading 457,000 at the moment. Hold on, guys. Give me a second.
Thank you, Wayne B. Glad to hear it. I'm just curious, Wayne B, if you get on YouTube, shoot me an email, norm@bearbulltraders.com. I'm just curious to know, if you can give me pros and cons of each. I always love to get the feedback.
All right, sorry about that, guys. Losing my voice here. Had to get some water. So let's head over to Tesla. So Tesla might be going back to 100 after reviewing that truck that they did yesterday. But here they're down 4% this morning. 460,000 shares traded so far. Pre-market activity looks very nice, guys. This is a very clean pre-market activity for Tesla. So we have a lot of movements, and the levels are going to be great because we have a ton of stuff here that we can assign for. So we'll keep Tesla on here, guys. Next, let's head over to.
You got to pull up the picture when we're going through it.
Yeah, you know what? I was trying to log into my Twitter here to see it, but we definitely. I'm gonna pull that picture
up. Google Cybertruck and throw it on the screen.
It is worth bringing up, Norm. I am definitely going to do this. It's just.
It's as bad. And the other thing, I didn't watch the presentation, but supposedly it has bulletproof glass, and its chief design. I think it was the chief designer. Show that side shot, the third one. Oh my God! It looks like somebody didn't even try. Oh yeah. It's supposed to have bulletproof glass, and in the presentation on the stage unveiling this thing, the guy threw a metal ball at the window and shattered 2 windows.
Oh my God!
The whole thing was a disaster. Yeah.
Oh my God! All right, guys. So that is what we have to work with this morning on Tesla. So definitely one to watch.
And how does the person in the back seat even get their head in the car?
They have to be 2 feet tall. That's the only way they can sit in the back seat.
Yeah.
So Tesla is going to be exciting, guys. Definitely in play today. A lot of buzz on it. We'll definitely keep an eye on Tesla this morning. Next, we're going to look at CRON is also here, active as well. Pre-market activity is down quite a bit, 3.7, 291. It could be some kind of continuation from yesterday. Again, yesterday also traded pretty much like CGC, so it traded very well. So it could be one that's for a possible today. We'll keep it on here for now and see what can develop out of this. Next, we have also CGC is on here. So CGC kind of doing the same thing. Again, I like CGC better than CRON because it has more volume usually. It tends to trade a little bit cleaner, although they're doing the same thing today. This one has more volume, just a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to ask CGC. I'm not going to keep both of these. I'm only going to keep one. It's most likely it's going to be CGC. Next, we have PSTG. So PSTG here. Wow, this is down 21.2. So down quite a bit today. Let's go back and see what we have here today. So daily looks very interesting. We're kind of stalling at this area of last support, previous support here and here. So again, we have some support there of this beautiful drop, 21%. Pre-market activity though, it's not looking all that great, guys. So pre-market's a little bit flat at the moment. It looks like this drop happened last night. Maybe on some earnings, Norm. What is causing this huge drop on PSTG today?
Yeah, they had earnings last night. They missed on earnings and revenues. Then they had some, I guess, executive changes. So that's what's going on here. This one, just a heads up, has it's not a huge short float, but it can trade a little wild. I've seen in the past when I've traded it.
All right, so PSTG here. All right, we'll put it on here again. Pre-market's not looking all that great, but it does have a nice drop. It's kind of like BJ's yesterday, right? BJ's had a drop similar to this one as well, and that's what I liked about it. Usually when you get these drops, you can have a movement one way or the other. If this news is significant, depending how it reacts towards the markets today, if it drops and loses this level, you have a nice area to run down here, and you also can start possibly closing this gap as well. Next, and last, we have TAC on here. So if we look at TAC, this one is dropping 26%, 230,000 shares traded so far. Looks like on the 5-minute, we do have a pretty decent pre-market activity at the moment. It is a lower price stock, so we got to be cautious. Usually these lowest price stock don't trade very well. It's a low flow too. It is 8 million
Yeah,
shares
it's a low float. It's a Greek shipping company, and it's moving on a news of a secondary offering. So all those things together, there's no chance this will be on my watch list personally.
Yeah. Same here, man. This is not something I want to be dealing with. Just too much crap going on with that. We'll skip this. We have tons of other stocks that look a lot better. We don't need to be watching.
I've got two other really good ones for you this morning that probably will hit the gappers in just a little bit. GPS, Gap Stores,
Okay.
and JWN Nordstrom.
Yep, GPS. Very nice. We'll put this on here. GPS. And then Nordstrom, what's the ticker?
JWN.
JWN. Actually, Nordstrom, when it is in play, man, and we got some good trades out of Nordstrom. So we're looking forward to see how that does now. Typical 90 stock, guys. Not a lot of great volume, not a lot of great pre-market activity, right? It's not clean. But these stocks tend to do that, and then they can really get going, on some news. So definitely worth putting on our list today and watching these. All right, guys, what do you guys like this morning? I see some tickers being thrown out here. Let's start over here in our chat room from... we're getting YEYE, YEYEG. All right, so YEEG. All right, so here we go. So this one, 1.8 million shares traded so far. Actually, you know what, guys? I just thought about something. NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gains, because I see this one's on here as well. So let's just go through this really quick first. VEON, guys, on this list. Again, nothing much happening here. Crappy. This is the one that you just mentioned. We're just looking at IG. So IG right now has a lot of volume, 1.8 million shares traded. It is up 85%. So this thing looks very active this morning. Let's check what the flow is today.
3.2 million.
No, you have 3.2. I have 800,000.
Okay. Well, I happen to pull it up on FinViz when we were talking, so that's where I margin dipper a little bit. Nevertheless, it's a tiny float.
Yep. Nevertheless, it's a low flow anyway, so we'll put it down here when you want to be extra cautious with this one today. So again, it's got great volume, guys. As usual, we're seeing a good, nice pre-market activity here with this volume being built. But we already know how this works. We're going to be extra cautious with this and make sure we watch we watch our risk properly. And if you're not a low flow trader, just completely avoid it, right? Just take it off your list completely so you don't have no fear of missing out. VIVE, we have looked at in the past, guys. Today we have 1.1 million shares traded. It is up 52%. But this one trades nasty. Every time it's in our gappers list, it tends to do this: gap up and then sell back down. Gap up, sell back down. So I'm just not going to waste my time on it. We have looked at it before several times, and it's never given us a good opportunity to trade it. VIVE. And also it's 170,000 here. I'm not sure if that's correct, but just tells you, it's a garbage stock, pretty low. You want to be cautious of this one.
And not shortable either.
Yeah, exactly. VBIV, this one here is a penny stock. We'll skip this one. Volatility index should be slightly down this morning as the markets are slightly up. AMD again continues on this beautiful uptrend here. It's pulling back a bit over the last couple of days, but again, this is a pullback given how strong AMD has been. Right now on a day like today where we have some room, we can watch AMD. I'm gonna throw it on here. Just to see what we can get out of AMD this morning. We have Tesla on our list, WKHS. We have looked at in the past, not looking all that great right now. It has some volume, but again, this is one of those stocks that doesn't trade very well, so I'm just going to bypass this one. And then we have NASDAQ ETF. FUV on here is also horrible penny stock, not really trade something we want to trade. NASDAQ gainers, guys, let's go over to this side. IG, we have on our list is the low flow that looks decent today, but again, very cautious, very low flow here. VIVE, not looking all that great. One that we have looked at doesn't trade well. HIBB, this one is up 22%. What's the float on this one? HIBB. I also saw some of you guys in the comments throw this out there.
Not low. That's a big company.
Yeah, so 17.4 million shares company here. The pre-market activity is pretty flat right now, right? So you got a nice pop up, a nice gap, and it's pretty flat at the moment here. So I'm not sure what is the news causing this gap. We'll look into it. I know Norm probably hasn't a chance to look at that yet. We'll come back to it. We'll throw it on here.
It's earnings on Hated Sports.
It is, okay. Could be exciting. Yep. Definitely worth taking a look at. So we'll throw that on here. ASTC. Nothing happening there. WKHS we looked at. VLRX also no volume. CYAD no volume. SPLK is looking interesting. What's the?
It's 148 million float per FinViz. It's a good size float. The ATR on Splunk is 3.44, so it can really move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just keep that in mind. That it's when I've traded in the past, it's rather spready, but it can be a good trader.
Yeah. It also has not the cleanest daily chart as well, as you can see here. Not all that clean, so we'll be on the lookout for that. But you know what? The gap looks nice. Let's put it on here and we can take a closer look in a second. And then P10 no volume, guys. Just popping up here, but only 3,000 shares traded, so nothing much going on there. CRBP. Nothing happening here. No volumes. Only 2,000 shares traded. All right, guys. So we have a few on here. Let's go over to the chats and see what you guys have on your end.
I've got one more to throw your way this morning. Yeah.
Yep.
Zoom. I think Zoom. I'm looking at it. I've had my eye on it. I actually almost took it for a swing yesterday. Toward the end of the day, based on the daily.
Yep.
It's not a ton of volume right now, but I'm gonna have that on my secondary list later. It looks like it might be poised for a breakout.
This daily chart looks amazing, Norm. I gotta tell you, this thing here looks like it wants to break out nicely above this area of resistance that we've been having here. So if we can get going above this moving averages with a little bit of volume and push, it has some room to run here. So at least to 78 is the only area I see some kind of resistance here. So yeah, I like this one as well. I'm going to keep it on here. If it doesn't get going, we can also just put it on our secondary list. But I think this one looks very good this morning as well. All right, so IG we looked at, guys. This is active. Yep, very active. So we have that on our list. VIVE. I don't like VIVE. Let me go back to it again. Maybe you're seeing something that I'm not seeing. Yeah, I don't like this one. This is the one that just gaps up and then just usually sells down. It's one of those stocks that's just not great to trade. Look at the pre-market activity now. Beautiful pop, right back down, right? Now it's consolidating, and every time we see this, it usually doesn't come back up. So again, I don't want to be involved in this stock. I think we can focus our bandwidth somewhere else where we can have some better opportunities. SSI, no volume there, guys. Only 9,600 shares traded. Had a great day yesterday, looks like, and it could be in for a possible continuation, but right now the volume is not there. LK has been active. Let's look at LK. LK, as crazy as his daily chart looks, this looks very nice. And the reason is because, again, it's holding, right? You had a beautiful pop here. You have a beautiful continuation the following day, right? Some profit taking, so it gapped down, but the news seemed to have held pretty nice. And now it went all the way up. And now here you're kind of consolidating. And at this point, it looks like it's almost trying to get on a breakout here out of 29. So if it could break out of this level here, it could be interesting to at least go test the recent high here of 30, what's that, 30.50 or so, 30.30. So that pattern here in the daily does look interesting. It looks like people are still interested in this stock for whatever reason. It's 63,000 shares traded, up 2.5. Yeah, this could be interesting, guys. Again, I'm going to put this down as a secondary also. I don't think it will be on a primary list, but we can have this on our secondary list for sure. LK. What else we have? SJM. SJM this morning. Wow, this is a nasty daily chart. And the reason why it's nasty is just look at it, how every candle engulfs is the previous candle, right? So you don't have no clear patterns on here. This is just not looking clean. Here, the consolidation over a couple of days has just been nasty. We are gapping down. Well, not gapping down. We're selling off a little bit here. But look at the pre-market activity also, just nasty. So it's just a lot of factors here that are not looking clean. Pre-market's not looking clean. Daily chart's not looking clean. And volume is not there. So those three things are just all overall not looking great. So we're going to skip this one. TGT, we'll do a few more, guys, then we'll get into announcement. TGT, I like the daily chart on TGT. I gotta say, this is holding up pretty nicely. We had the earnings news. They did amazing. The next day, a good continuation, breaking a new high from the previous day. They are sitting at all-time highs, so there's no levels towards the top besides 128.05 is the new all-time high, which is the high of the pre-market. So again, another good one for secondary list, guys. Again, you got some volume here, and if this thing can get a beautiful squeeze here, it can get going. There might be some profit taken once they start hitting these all-time highs, and then it can get going after that. All right, folks, let's get over to announcement. We have quite a bit on here. I want to get through what we have here and then see if there's any other ones that come up that are worth taking a look at as well. So let me get this over to Norm. All right, here we go.
All right, guys. We've got our new scanner contest going on. You can see the AB will post the link to the forum post. Trade Ideas has had their test drive going on the last 2 weeks. It ends today. So if you have any scanners that you've created on your own or that you're working to create, put the details, the specifications in the forum post. And then after November is over, members will vote, and you can win either an iPad or an iPhone 11 Pro. We'll work it out with Andrew. He specified pretty much any Apple product, not the crazy, $6,000 Mac or whatever, but a phone or an iPad. And we will do that for you. So take a look at those. Hopefully we can also add the scanner to our list of scanners we keep up in the room all day for members to take trades off of, and you'll have some pride in that as well. DAS's #1 best trader competition. It is currently ongoing. The last time around, the #1 stock trader was actually out of BBT, so we're very proud of that. Keep an eye on the leaderboard at onebesttrader.com. That's the #1 besttrader.com. If you are a monthly membership and you're looking to upgrade, or you are looking to become a member and like to get a lifetime, with the lifetime one-time payment option, you can get a discount of 35% off using the promo code PREMARKET35, or excuse me, PREMARKET LT35. Then upcoming meetups, Andrew will be in Toronto on November 29th for that meetup. I had somebody reach out and ask if I would be there. Unfortunately, I will not. I will be traveling with family for the holidays, for Thanksgiving. But hopefully next time. I know it's a beautiful city. I got to stop by there last time on my way to Montreal. And then Andrew will be in London on December 14th for that meetup. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't been in the room, but you'd like to give it a shot, you can do a 1-week trial. It does not auto-renew, does not turn into another kind of membership. Get it at a discount. Use the promo code PREMARKET24. Also, if you subscribe and hit the like button, subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified whenever we go live with new content.
All right, excellent. All right, let's get to it, guys. Thank you, Norm. Let's look at what we have here. We have quite a bit. So as usual, let's just go through it and see what looks great and what we can eliminate. So Foot Locker, I like Foot Locker. It's got some good activity, good volume. It has traded well in the past when it is in play. It looks like this morning it is going to be in play. We're already getting a lot of good volume out of Foot Locker today. Tesla definitely on our watch list. Has some a good activity, great pre-market action. You can see here the flow on it looks nice and good volume as well. And also with a truck that they came out with, we definitely want to keep an eye on this one because that is just this thing could tank easily with that type of truck that they came out with. CRON. So out of the CRON and CGC, I'm going to keep only one. I don't need to watch both of them. And usually CGC trades a little bit better, so I'm going to keep CGC on this list. PSTG. The only thing I like about this one, again, pre-market right now is pretty much flat. That's typical for usually the nicey stocks. I like the gap. The gap is 20%. We're sitting at a level of support here, so if this support is strong enough, we can actually start heading higher after like 30 minutes or so when we start closing this gap. Or if we lose this, we can actually head even lower, test this low of the pre-market one more time. So I like PST. G for that. Not one of my favorites, but we definitely keep it on here. GPS is really exciting as well because again we have some news on this one, right? You mentioned, Norm, some possible stuff coming out, so GPS is worth watching. When it is in play, guys, it trades very well. The daily chart is a little bit funky here, but you can clearly see a level of support that we're sitting at right now, right? So you clearly see that level of support even with all this somewhat gappy, choppy daily chart. You can see the levels of support here. If we can lose that, a potential could be the 1575 and also lower down here. So we're going to keep this one for now. JWN, again, it's just flat pre-market action right now. But again, it's also, Norm mentioned, this can also be a possible breakout one way or the other. It's going to hit our scanners pretty soon. It's at 71,000 number of shares traded. Also, again, nicey stock, guys. So these stocks tend to have a very slow pre-market action to get going. AMD, I have it on. He's been trading very well, as we talked about in the daily chart. Very nice here. Again, pre-market is a little choppy right now, a little bit all over the place. We do have some volume. This is good volume for AMD. So 581 so far as we approach 9:05 Eastern time, so we'll definitely keep that on here. HIBB, also flat pre-market activity, not the greatest, but I do like this pop. This is a 23% gap up on a stock that's trading at 26 bucks. We're up $5.80, so that is worth watching. I think we can get some movements out of this towards the top or bottom. Not sure if this is all-time high. I'm just going to scroll back here and check. It might be. It might be all-time high. If it is, it's going to be no, it's not. It's not all-time high. So still a great gap, but again, not all-time high there. SPLK also looks great, guys. Has a decent pre-market activity, so we'll keep this one on here. Zoom, the breakout is nice for a secondary, and LK also for a secondary. So I'm going to split this up. I think we have to separate our secondary stuff on here. And we won't do levels for those, but we will be watching those and talking about those in our main chat room. So LK is going to go there because I think that's a potential to pop up nicely. Zoom is going to go there in our secondary. SPLK, I'm on the fence on this one. HIBB, I'm on the fence as well. AMD will go on our secondary list here. So we will make it a little smaller. JWN, also our secondary list. We got quite a few that look very good for a secondary list. And for those, what we would do is we will look at our turbo breakup and turbo breakdown scanners on trade ideas. And if we see these tickers come up here, we know they're already setting up nicely. So the scanners are going to help us identify if there's any kind of movement that we should tune into and check out on those stocks as well. And we'll put GPS. Yeah, maybe GPS. I like GPS. We'll keep GPS on here for now. All right, so let's find some levels. So here we have Foot Locker. So towards the bottom, guys, we have the previous day close and low from yesterday. So don't need to add anymore. I'm not going to mark the low of the pre-market right now because it looks like we might be heading down to test its pre-market close. So I'm going to keep that on there. Below the pre-market close, I'm sorry, the previous day close, we do have a clear level here at 39.53. And the reason this level is very clear is you can see several days bouncing off that 39.53. You have the breakout above it, the retest, and then it becomes a good support for the next couple of days, not being able to break out at 39.53. Below that, we do have some other levels on here, very clean one here as well at 37. Several days changing the direction of the price action when it hits that 37.01, also reacting as resistance and then support. So that's interesting. Wow, look at this here. So we're breaking down from the previous day close. This is why I did not want to mark that low of the pre-market, because it looked like it was going to get going here. So let's see what it does here, if it's going to reach this 39.53, and then below that a nice clean support at 33.16. Right, we had a beautiful drop, gap down, a beautiful drop here. We bounce off this level and then change the direction. You can also mark this level here, and the reason I like this one is because after we found some support at 33.16, we did test this 34.94 twice here. So that's a good support area. I don't think we're going to get all the way down there, guys, but just in case, we'll be ready with our levels. Towards the top, we have plenty highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, some moving averages in here. So don't add any more on here. Let's just get things complicated. And look how these highs and lows are reacting, right? So you have the high from 2 days ago. If you draw a line across that, just look how that's become in the past resistance and support, right? So again, that level has been tested several times, a good level, and then from there you have some other highs and lows in there as well. So here is Tesla. Tesla is going to be exciting today, guys. Some good volume, and aside from the good volume, good pre-market activity. You have a nice flow on Tesla, which is usually not the case. So I'm going to mark down our low of our pre-market right now, which is sitting right here. And the reason I'm marking the low of the pre-market, although this might break it, I still like this 339.26 level, because it is a level of resistance right here and here. So aside from it being the low of the pre-market, you do have some previous, going here to the left, you do have some previous areas of support, of resistance that can now become support. So you definitely want to mark that down on your list. Below that, you do have another area right here, 329, almost $10 lower, 329.21. Also areas of resistance here, and resistance, and then support. So you might want to mark that down. You also have a moving average slightly above it, so be on the lookout for that. But that 329.21, I think is going to be a good one. Then last one towards the bottom, I don't know if it's going to run, as horrible as that truck looks, I don't think it's going to run all the way down to 314. But 314, guys, this area here, between here and here, right, you have some areas of support when you had this breakout. So you had the breakout, you had the pullback, and then it held this 314 area, 315-ish, and before it ran up again and broke the recent resistance that it had here at 339. So you want to mark that down. I think that's plenty for Tesla. Towards the top, you have the previous day close, the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So I think that's plenty for Tesla this morning. CGC, we do have some levels from our prior pre-market shows. Let's go through them and see if they are still relevant. So towards the bottom, you have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Look at the highs and lows on there. That's doing a good job here, catching these supports from previous days as well. So we're going to keep those on there. Below that, below the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, which are these right here, you can mark down this one here as well, this 1790. And then the next one will really be this one here at 1662, right? So you have 2 levels on there. Below that, you got the low from the last 2 trading days. I don't think we're going to drop that far down, but you definitely got some levels on here already. Just add that 1790 and that 1662, because it is a level here based on this gap down. Now towards the top, you got the previous day close, which is very close towards the high of the pre-market now. Above that, you have a beautiful level here, guys. And why is it beautiful? It's beautiful because it's being tested several times. So here's a support, right? Here's resistance, and then resistance one more time just 2 days ago, yesterday actually, right? 2166. So when you have that, when you have a level tested so many times, that's a beautiful level. So 2166. Above that, we have 2285. This one here, we can actually adjust this a little bit and bring it down here now, because we got more recent information. 2247, it can actually be, when we were trading it here, this made sense up here, right? 2379. But now you have this more recent level closer to the price action, right? You want to have levels that are closer to your price action. This one here is clearly 2250. We have the price action moving up, bouncing off of that and changing direction, heading back down towards the level that it just came off, that 1940 that we have here, right? So you want to mark down on that 2250 there. So plenty of levels for CGC this morning. Again, it's getting pretty active. Look at the volume, guys. Volume is coming in. It's trading nicely. We got a beautiful pre-market action also as well here. Some nice ranges happening. So I think CGC is in for a nice day today. PSTG doesn't have a great pre-market activity. Let me remove some of these levels. But what I do like about PSTG is the drop. It has a beautiful drop, kind of like reminds me of what BJ's did yesterday. We have a high of a pre-market at 1590. The low of the pre-market sitting at 1510. Look how that 1590 is acting as support here as well, and also in this area here, the 1510 close to here, but not quite. Here's where you got some action on 1510, which is the low of the pre-market. If we're able to lose this 1510, we do have a nice little gap all the way down to 1417. Then we have this area here where we gap down, we kind of consolidated around here. We have some levels here just in case. I don't think we'll get further than that 1417. It's going to take a lot to get all the way down here and not bounce from this and break down further, right? So that tons of levels towards the bottom that are very clean based off this daily. Let's go towards the top. We have our 1591, which is higher than the pre-market. Above that, we do have a nice level, nice confirmed level, 1650. You have resistance here. Oh, sorry. Resistance here, you have resistance and support right over here, support here, resistance, support. So again, another level that's being tested quite a bit. That's what we want to look for in these levels. Above that, just in case, let's get one more level towards the top in case this thing really decides to run and start closing this gap. We do have another one at 1736, several days bouncing off that 1736. So what makes the level great, I know I keep repeating it, but you know, this is what it is, repetition and execution, right? That's what trading is about. So here we see several days kind of bouncing off that 1736 from as resistance, as support. You know, so it's a level that can be tested again if we can get above these two levels, 1591, 1649. GPS at the moment, we're kind of in the bigger picture on the daily. We're kind of stuck within a range here, right? We're kind of stuck within a very nasty range here on the GSP. So I'm actually going to put this down in our secondary list at the moment. We're not getting a great volume. I thought by now I would have hit 100,000. It's not happening. We're getting close to 915. So I'm going to put it down here as a secondary. It could break out nicely, as Norm was mentioning earlier today, but we're not going to put levels on this one just right now. HIBB, also one that, again, pre-market's not looking all that great, not getting the volume. What makes this one a little bit better is that we're up 23%, so we can get some kind of movements out of this one. Hopefully, it's not all-time high. We do have a high of our pre-market at 32.24. Our low of our pre-market at 29.99. So right in here, we kind of got this this range, right? We're stuck in at the moment, the pre-market activity. Towards the bottom, guys, the most recent action is all the way down at the highs and lows of the last two trading days. Again, so we have a nice little gap up here. You can mark down 26.84, which is the high of this day here, right? Aside from the highs and lows from the last two trading days, the next area of support can be this 26.78. I'm gonna scroll over to this area here and see if we could find some other clean levels, because there's a big gap right between the low of the pre-market now and the last area of support. That's a big gap. So you want to find something in between where you can have some levels where you can get a change in direction. So right over here you have one where you have several days hitting resistance at 28.46, right? We see it right there. Resistance comes back down again, just several days just banging their heads on here, cannot break out of it. Several times they were able to break out of it and then right back down. So again, you want to mark that down at 28.46, a good midpoint level being supported by several days. Towards the top, let's just see if we find a level towards the top above 32.24. Again, more I'm looking at this one, might not be one of my favorites that I keep this morning. Let's see how many we have.
Just a heads up. I want to point something out while you're going through these. A lot of these this is kind of retail reporting week on earnings. So you're looking at Hibbett Sports here. It's got a short float of roughly 31%.
Wow.
Nordstrom JWN has 30%. Gap has roughly 14%. And Foot Locker's about 9%. So most of these, Foot Locker's the lowest of them, but the rest have pretty high short floats and could cause some moves in their action, particularly if they are moving up.
Yep. I agree, and that's what's going to make this interesting. That's why, although they're not on our main list here, JWN and GPS, I'm going to keep my eyes on the turbo breakup scanner. So if you're on YouTube, we do have scanners that we keep up from Trade Ideas and the turbo breakup and turbo breakdown. If I see something happening there, this ticker starts hitting it, I'm going to tune in because we know they're setting up already. They do have a short, high short interest as well. So we have some data on it. So excellent. So HIBB, guys, again, I like the gap up here, but this pre-market activity is just not looking all that great. It seems pretty dull right now. The volume is not coming in. So we'll see. We'll see what happens as we get closer to 9:30 time frame. But right now, I'm not seeing anything I like too much besides the gap. The gap up is nice. SPLK also a more lively pre-market activity, right? Not as clean as I would like to see, but more lively. We do have a low of our pre-market sitting at 133.91. Below that, we have a nice little drop all the way down to 128, last area of support and resistance where we left it off yesterday. But we do have some areas in here towards the bottom. See if we can find some good dailies. Well, a little bit higher right over here we have 130.32. So 130.32, you can see the areas of resistance here as well. You do have days opening and closing on that, around that area, right? So they didn't quite hit that as resistance and head back down, but they did close at around that area, 130.32. So that could be something, but again, not the best level in this area. But here you can clearly see support and resistance. Towards the top, we have our high of our pre-market sitting at 137. I'm sorry, 138. Looks like we're bouncing down from that now quite a bit. And then above that, we have a very clean level at 142.09 that we can run up to. So that is what we have on SPLK. Again, not the cleanest pre-market activity. So what I'm going to do as we fine tune this list in our chat room, I might take some of the ones that look great here. For example, like Zoom. Zoom looks like it's not doing much right now, guys, but it just looks like it wants to break out, So I might replace one of these other ones that don't look great with like a Zoom or a LK. LK also looks like it wants to break out, guys. These are all great stocks to watch this morning. AMD looks like it wants to test the low and possibly head higher. I don't consider this a short just yet because again it's been so strong, so you got to be cautious with that. Don't have a short bias on AMD. It's on a very strong uptrend. JWN, as we spoke about, possible high short interest on this also can break out nicely. If we can get above this 38 level, we can definitely run. And GPS as well. We'll see what we can get out of those today. So that's what we have right now, guys. IG. Again, I'm not gonna watch this one, guys. It is active, 2.1 million shares traded. It is a low flow stock, but I like the ones that I have under mid and large flow stocks here. So I'm just not gonna spend time on this one today. All right, folks, that is what we have. Andrew is about to come on now and go over his watch list and some if statements of what we're going to trade today and what we can possibly look out for. Take care on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. It is Friday, so have a great trading Friday. Trade safe. Enjoy your weekend. Know that you want to be disciplined on a day like this where you don't have another trading day coming up. So you want to take the next 2 days, relax with your families and friends, and not stress about not following your rules and discipline in this Friday. Take care, guys.
Hey, thanks for joining us this week, guys. We'll see you Monday morning. Trade safe. Have a great weekend.